The series begins with Mariyam, a student at AlRawabi Girls' School. Mariyam is the most targeted girl for bullying by her classmates, to the extent that the bullying escalates into a violent assault. Her classmates beat her so severely at school that she is hospitalized due to her injuries. Mariyam hopes that school life will improve, but instead it turns into a nightmare from which she cannot escape. An investigation is launched among all of Mariyam's classmates to identify the perpetrators, but the inquiry fails to determine who was responsible. All of her classmates deny any involvement or knowledge of the incident. The story then rewinds 2 weeks to reveal what led up to these events. Mariyam's only true friend is Dina, and she is constantly bullied by Layan and Rania, who despise her for no apparent reason. Layan is the most popular girl in school and is feared by her classmates, as her father holds a powerful position that could result in the school's closure if anyone dares to stand against her. She manipulates situations to her advantage, pretending to be the victim while using her influence to avoid consequences. For example, Layan frequently sneaks away from the school bus to meet her boyfriend by creating a scene that distracts the driver and bus supervisor, allowing her to slip away unnoticed. She then changes her clothes in a cafe restroom and meets her friend Laith. Miss Abir, a teacher, notices Layan's absence from school, but as usual, Layan's friends cover for her, claiming she was sick and couldn't attend. Meanwhile, a new student named Noof transfers to the school in the second semester. She sits behind Dina, and Ruqayya immediately speculates that Noof must have caused some kind of trouble at her previous school, which is why she joined mid-year. At the end of the school day, the bus follows its usual route, stopping to drop off students. As usual, Layan waits for the perfect moment to sneak onto the bus unnoticed after changing back into her school uniform. Later, she excitedly tells Rania about her date with Laith, describing how handsome he is and how he invited her to visit his house. They plan to meet again next Wednesday. Unbeknownst to them, Dina overhears their conversation. Meanwhile, Mariyam returns home, where her loving and understanding family supports her. The next day at school, Layan and Mariyam find themselves on the same basketball team. Layan takes the opportunity to torment Mariyam, aggressively hitting the ball at her. The coach notices Layan's hostility and in response to her behavior, expels her from the team. After practice, the girls head to the changing rooms, where Layan decides to take revenge on Mariyam. She cunningly manipulates the situation, making everyone believe that Mariyam attempted to harass her in the changing room. Witnessing everything, Noof is unable to intervene. The false accusation spreads quickly and the entire school turns against Mariyam. Overwhelmed by the humiliation and bullying, Mariyam breaks down in tears. Later, Dina approaches Mariyam and tells her about a rumor circulating that a girl in their school harassed Layan in the changing room. Shocked, Mariyam reveals that she is the accused girl and that everything being said is a lie. She confesses her growing desire to retaliate against Layan. Dina then shares that Layan is planning to skip school again the next day, Wednesday, to meet her boyfriend. Seizing the opportunity for justice, Mariyam reports Layan's habitual truancy to the school principal, Miss Fatin. However, instead of punishing Layan, Fatin merely warns her, saying that if her father finds out, there will be consequence. Too afraid to take disciplinary action, Fatin lets Layan go unpunished. Furious that someone snitched on her, Layan immediately suspects Mariyam. She, Rania, and Ruqayya gather in the bathroom to plot their revenge. Samia, a school cleaner, happens to be nearby, and Layan threatens her into revealing a spot on the school grounds that is not covered by security cameras. Terrified of losing her job, Samia discloses that the old school bus area is the only unmonitored location. Layan then texts Mariyam, luring her to the old bus under false pretenses. When Mariyam arrives, Layan and her gang ambush her, relentlessly beating her. Layan strikes her so hard that she collapses. Noof witnesses the attack and, fearing for Mariyam's life, secretly calls an ambulance. An investigation is launched, but Layan denies any involvement. She knows that if her father discovers she is under investigation, there will be severe consequences. Rania claims she was in the bathroom at the time and saw nothing, while Ruqayya insists she was not present. In an attempt to divert suspicion, Ruqayya suggests that whoever saved Mariyam might actually be the perpetrator trying to cover up their crime. Noof, having seen everything, receives a threatening message warning her not to speak up. Rania personally warns her to stay silent. Terrified, Noof obeys. Meanwhile, Mariyam recovers in the hospital but refuses to reveal her attackers. She claims she was struck from behind and never saw the culprit. She knows that if she accuses Layan, nothing will happen and her suffering will only intensify. A meeting is held with students and parents, giving the investigator a chance to gather testimonies. Layan seizes the moment to twist the truth, claiming that Mariyam previously harassed her in the changing room and then tried to do so again near the old bus. According to Layan, she was merely defending herself when she pushed Mariyam, causing her to fall. She pleads with the principal and investigator to believe her. When asked if anyone witnessed the incident, the students, who had already been swayed by Layan's earlier lies, support her story. Mariyam attempts to defend herself, but the situation quickly turns against her. With overwhelming false evidence against her, she is suspended from school for 2 weeks. Even her own mother turns against her, believing the accusations. Desperate for someone to speak the truth, Mariyam approaches Noof, urging her to reveal what she saw. However, Noof remains silent, overwhelmed with guilt and fear. As the days pass, Mariyam's life at school and home becomes unbearable. She begins visiting a psychologist who prescribes sedatives to help her cope. During her suspension, she repeatedly tries to contact Dina, but Dina refuses to answer her calls. Meanwhile, Layan and her gang celebrate their victory over Mariyam. 2 weeks later, the school coach returns with registration forms for the official school soccer team, which will compete internationally. There are only 2 spots left on the team. The tests to select the 2 spots began, and she told me it would be nice if he chose her and Rania so they could travel together. Meanwhile, Ruqayya, their third friend, felt rejected by Layan and believed she wasn't interested in her. Layan continued her bad treatment of everyone, including Samia, the cleaning lady. She took Mariyam to school, and as soon as she saw Dina, she ran to her, asking why she hadn't responded to her recently. Dina explained that she found out Yazan was honest and had confessed his love to Mariyam. However, Mariyam had hidden what happened from Dina, despite knowing that Dina liked Yazan. Mariyam kept it a secret and ultimately won over him, just as she might have won regarding Layan. In fact, she actually harassed her. Dina then walked away and went to class. Layan's gang was already there. Rania told them she had started seeing a new guy named Ahmed, and Layan suggested that they bring their boyfriends so they could all go out together, excluding Ruqayya. Ruqayya felt hurt but kept her feelings to herself and didn't say anything. Mariyam arrived in the classroom and Layan treated her with fake kindness as usual, manipulating her until Mariyam ended up crying alone in the bathroom. Mariyam realized she had to take action and decided to follow the proverb, "Beware the anger of a patient person." She set off the fire alarm in the bathroom, causing all the students to evacuate the school until the fire brigade confirmed there was no actual fire. Before the students returned to their classrooms, they suddenly heard the school's loudspeaker turn on, broadcasting the voices of Layan and Rania mocking Professor Abir, insulting her, and speaking inappropriately about the coach, almost verbally harassing her. Mariyam was responsible for this and sent a message to the person who had turned on the loudspeaker, warning them that the teachers were coming so they could turn off the recording and escape before being caught. Layan realized Mariyam had something to do with what happened. Ruqayya, Rania, and Layan were summoned to Professor Abir's office for questioning. She informed them that their punishment would be losing access to all school activities and being assigned to clean the school in place of Samia until the end of the semester. They protested, but Abir warned them that she could call their parents and let them decide the punishment instead. Fearing worse consequences, they agreed to accept Abir's terms. Samia handed them cleaning supplies and they were forced to clean in front of all the students, humiliating them before the entire school. Mariyam watched, feeling an immense sense of satisfaction, knowing she had finally gotten justice. Abir then instructed them to clean the swimming pools as well. Meanwhile, Mariyam observed from afar when Noof approached her, attempting to talk. Noof apologized for not being able to speak up about what happened, but Mariyam called her a coward and expressed her disinterest in hearing anything else. She embarrassed Noof, making her walk away. Layan and her group went to the bathroom, discussing their upcoming football tests. Layan insisted they would pass and win because Fatin, the coach, feared Layan's father and would do anything she asked. Noof overheard their conversation while hiding in the bathroom. Later, all students were summoned to a seminar on bullying. The teacher conducting the session needed 2 students to act as the bully and the victim. Ms. Abir selected Layan to play the victim, while Noof stepped forward as the bully. Seizing the opportunity, Noof publicly humiliated Layan, mocking her in front of the entire school. She taunted her, saying she smelled bad and that no one would want to be near her. This was Noof's way of making amends with Mariyam. After the seminar, all students signed up for football training. Noof approached Mariyam to explain why she had remained silent, revealing that she had been expelled from multiple schools for speaking out against bullying. Furthermore, in her previous school, she had exposed an exam leak due to her computer skills. If she had spoken up at this school, she would have been expelled, ruining her future. When Mariyam entered training, Layan was playing as the goalkeeper. Mariyam struck the ball at her face, making Layan furious. She lunged at Mariyam, intending to fight, but the coach intervened, preventing her from attacking. The coach recognized Mariyam's talent and became eager for her to join the soccer team. Later, in the changing room, Layan and her group speculated about who had leaked their recording. Rania suggested that Noof, having witnessed what happened to Mariyam, might be responsible. They decided that Noof needed to learn not to interfere in their matters again. Knowing that Noof's younger sister attended the same school, they harassed her until Noof stepped in to defend her. Tua, one of Layan's group members, threatened Noof's sister, warning that they would continue harassing her if Noof was indeed behind their trouble. The stress caused Noof, who had a breathing condition, to become severely unwell, requiring a doctor to visit her at home. Determined to get revenge, Noof approached Mariyam, ready to join forces against Layan's gang. Mariyam revealed her plan. First, they would eliminate Ruqayya, then Rania, and ultimately Layan. But the most crucial step was getting rid of the school principal, who had been covering up their wrongdoings. The open day arrived, a donation campaign where students from the boys' and girls' schools gathered in one place after school hours. After the event, the girls went to the bathrooms to change into casual clothes. Layan was waiting to meet Laith, while Rania was eager to meet her boyfriend Ahmed, whom she had never seen before. They asked Ruqayya if she was in a relationship, and she admitted she had been chatting online with a guy for 2 days, though he hadn't posted any pictures of himself. While they were talking, Dina emerged from the bathroom after changing. Layan decided to play a cruel prank on her, claiming her pants were dirty. Instead of helping her clean them, she ruined them further and took pictures, sending them to the entire school. Humiliated, Dina decided not to participate in the open day and isolated herself to cry. Mariyam found her, comforted her, and warned her never to trust anyone from Layan's gang. She then revealed her entire plan and invited Dina to join their mission. However, Noof got angry at Mariyam for making decisions without consulting her. She insisted that adding anyone to the plan without agreement was reckless. Despite this, they continued preparing for the open day. As the event started, the boys arrived, and Noof went back to her goal, ready to execute their plan. She reminded Dina not to make mistakes and ensured no one knew what they were planning. Their first step was targeting Ruqayya. The guy Ruqayya had been chatting with, Tariq, wasn't real. It was actually Noof. Since Layan and Rania both had boyfriends, Ruqayya felt left out. Noof, posing as Tariq, continued messaging her on Facebook. Meanwhile, Mariyam ensured Ruqayya was isolated from her gang by causing a drink spill on her clothes, keeping her distracted while they executed their next move. Noof then ran to Professor Abir, falsely claiming that Layan and Rania were secretly meeting their boyfriends in a dark corner of the school. Abir rushed over, forcing Layan and Rania's boyfriends to flee, leaving Ruqayya behind. When she arrived at their hiding spot and found them gone, she realized they had abandoned her. She kept calling them, but they ignored her. Heartbroken, she sat alone, upset. As she wallowed in her feelings, she messaged Tariq, who comforted her and offered to send a picture of himself as an apology. Noof then tricked her into downloading a virus, gaining complete control over Ruqayya's phone. Posing as Tariq, she pressured Ruqayya into sending a picture of herself without her hijab. After much convincing, Ruqayya finally did. Noof then uploaded the picture to Ruqayya's Instagram, along with insulting and defamatory captions about her and her family. In the next video, we'll continue with the second part of AlRawabi School's first season. Stay tuned! Thanks for watching this recap. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to comment below and tell me what else movie or series you want me to recap next.